Hey folks, many times that you've got a tugging at going on and you're going, you know what, I feel I should be doing this, but maybe you're not sure why, or you don't see the results you're looking for. I know I've been in this area many times in my life because I do so many things. And I tell you, one of the ways of kind of bringing it back together, it's just like an artist, is stepping back and taking a look at all your work as a whole. For artists, we often say, you know what, just if you're doing a painting, you're in the details, you're in the details, you're in the details. Every once in a while, you have to step back and make sure that you are taking a picture, the picture in as a whole, and not just in the little details. And this is very common, especially with creative entrepreneurs. If you're like me, you'll do a lot of things. And many times I start things and I don't actually know how they're going to fit into what I do. They're just things I like to do. I've got a television show. I've got 2 podcasts. I write books. I do a lot of things. I don't always know how it's going to work out in the end. It's just something that inside that says, I need to start looking at this. I need to start doing it. And so I start. I'm one of these people, just get started. You know my mantra, right? Just get started. But every once in a while, you can't just keep doing everything just for the sake of doing it because you like it, because it does take time, it does take money in some cases, and time is precious for all of us. So how are you doing this to where you can, keep doing it and know that you're doing it for the right reasons? And that's why you want to step back a little bit, take a look at everything as a whole, so that when you go, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, you're doing it for a reason that's helping you move further as a whole. I don't know how long I've been doing this. One of the things that happened is when I started doing my television show, I was offered the television show, and I said, you know what, I'm going to just get started and do the television show. I didn't know why I was going to do the show. I didn't know, there's no monetary gain to the show. We're not even allowed to sell ads on the show. So there's, why are we doing it is a whole other thing. But I felt this need to do it. I thought it would be good for the community. I knew it would be good for my brand. I knew it would be good for the youth that I deal with on the show. And so I thought, you know what, it's a good thing to be doing. And so I started doing it. And here we are, we're in season 2 right now. I'm going to go into season 3 here shortly. And so I felt that it's the right thing to do, but it is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. Same with my podcasts. I've got the 2 podcasts going. One's making money, one's not making so much money. So it's all up and up, but I keep going. For some reason, something inside is telling me to keep going. So I recently did this with my own business. I actually took a step back and just looked at everything, looked at the television show, looked at the podcast, looked at my speaking, and go, how does this all fit together? And what you find out by doing this many times is that it actually supports some of those things that are not necessarily money makers, are there to support. They support the reason that I'm speaking. They support the reason that I'm going out and getting podcasts. They support the reason that I'm doing the television show. There's some things that are in support, and you need that support to validate you, right? So people can go, yes, this guy knows what he's talking about, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, or whatever, So when I tell people, well, I deal a lot with youth, and they go, well, geez, you're not exactly a youth yourself. You're in the baby boomers. I said, yeah, I know, but I've got a television show where I talk to youth a lot of times, or I've got a podcast where I'm talking with creative entrepreneurs all the time. It helps validate. So there might be things that you're doing that you're maybe not sure of if what you should be doing. You're questioning them. You go, should I keep doing this? Is it what I should be doing? Maybe just take a step back and look at what's going on as a whole and see if that doesn't help you. I can tell you that's how, I just recently did a presentation for a group in the Windsor area at the University of Windsor. And they were students, and we were talking about building a business. We were talking about entrepreneurs building a business. And I talked to them about building values, because my business has been built on values. Well, where did I get that substance for the stories, for the context, was from my comic book. If I hadn't done my comic book, I might not have thought about this, even though I had been doing it. But because I created a comic book where each story had a value in it, and those are values that are dear to my heart, it was easier for me to create a presentation around that to help them understand how values are important in them. So the comic book, although I've made money on it in the past, is more of a support now for my speaking. So take a look at what you're doing, take a look at how things are working, and see if there's a way of you taking that in support information, maybe you're doing other things, and maybe it's supporting something, and we're thinking of it as the moneymaker. I know people look at what I do and they're always going, boy, Bruce, you do a lot of stuff. And you're right, I do a lot of stuff. And I like doing a lot of stuff. And we're going to talk about that here in a future episode this month as well. But it's okay to do that lot of stuff, but you sometimes need to step back and go, why am I doing it? I have no problem putting in the work as long as I know it's going towards an end goal and I know that it's going to where I want it to be going. And sometimes that's hard to see when we're close into it. You're into that nitty gritty. It's like doing a comic book. You have it zoomed in and you're trying to do that little detail, and you're trying to get every single thing in there, and you're working on a leg. And you don't see the whole body until you zoom back out and you go, well, the leg looks perfect, but I forgot his arm. And that wouldn't be the first time something's happened in a world of art. Trust me, I've known artists who have put 6 fingers on a hand. I know people who have I put an extra hand on somebody. We'll stop there. Anyway, if you've got something tugging in you and you're doing stuff and sometimes you're not sure why you're doing it, and you've been doing it because you thought it was going to make you money, but it's not making you money, it may not be that it's bad. It may just be a different role. It might be a support role, and you want to see how that fits. So stop what you're doing, and I do this regularly. Take some time to plan your business and just shut down and make a couple lists. Here's what I want you to do. Make a list. Take out a piece of paper. Make a list on one side. Make a list of all the things that you want to do on one side of the page. Okay, so let's say you're speaking and you're writing a book and you're doing this. You're doing this. List all of that on one page, and then on the other side, list what's making money, but what fits together. So maybe your speaking is making the money, but the book is supporting the speaking, but you've had it where you thought the book was the one making the money. It could make the money. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times that support stuff is what keeps us going and what gives us that authenticity. You know what I mean. It makes you authentic. I can't even say it. Anyway, that's the kind of thing that can propel your business farther for the long run. And it's not till you step back and look at all the achievements you've done, and look at things you work in the past. Look at work in the past, because you may sometimes think that work that you did in the past is just out there by itself. It's no longer being used. You're not thinking about it. But if I look at some of my older work, that same values and all that kind of stuff has run through it. And that might be just a way of bringing that in, refreshing it up a little bit, and it might be the next book or the next project or whatever it is you want to do. So don't throw out your old stuff. Don't think that you're doing too much. Just step back once in a while to make sure that you know why you're doing what you're doing, so that you can apply it forcefully and take you success for the future. Thanks for watching. See you later.